Here we are in Watchung, New Jersey, and we have all kinds of snow. Let's see if we can. Snow is out, maybe about 4 inches, and there's my mom's new orchid, which she's happy about. And so I'm gonna. I guess it's good I'm not up in Pennsylvania right now. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting ready to do some work out in the barn. And this election is very interesting. The whole double standard of who the Republicans are going to run. You have to understand that the media subliminally, in every possible way they are going to trash whoever runs against King Obama, who is trashing this country energy-wise. He's done everything possible to drive up the energy costs. The money that they invested in solar was a total waste, and no one seems to give a damn. Those who are for Obama are not going to change their mind per se. There is an element in between that were misguided, wanted to give the guy a chance, and now that they've seen what he's done, obviously they're not going to vote for him. Considering McCain was a piece of garbage, it's amazing he got as many votes as he got. So I would say that hopefully this is the last time we will elect a president whose parents hated this country. That might be an interesting thing to do. They never vetted Obama as to where he came from, what his beliefs are, who his friends were, his religious convictions. They glanced over everything. It's mind-boggling how they can just fester on anything the Republicans do. Mitt Romney about the fact that he paid 15% and that he didn't make that much money doing speaking, $250,000 from his perspective. Yeah, Clinton made, I think, $3 million speaking, and no one's talking about that, how in touch he is with the average person. Mitt Romney, he has a lot to be desired from my standpoint, my conservative standpoint, and I hold him somewhat responsible for this Obamacare, which forces me to buy health insurance and forces me to spend my money instead on healthy food to pay premiums to an insurance company to get treatments which I wouldn't want to have anyhow. It's totally insane what's going on here. But in any event, whatever Mitt Romney does, that's the big deal. Newt Gingrich, whether it's true or not that his wife, he wanted his wife to have an open marriage or whatever the heck it is. I mean, that's that's between them. And it seems to me that when you look at what was going on in the Clinton household with Bill Clinton screwing and allegedly raping people, that was never an issue in the election. The media just said, "Well, as long as he's doing his job, what's the difference?" All I can tell you is that that Kane dropped out, and is probably good because he couldn't take the heat. And not only that, being a cancer survivor, who knows if this thing will show its ugly head again while he's in office. But he really didn't have the conviction to stay in, and so he was weeded out. All I know is that anybody the Republicans put up and would be better than Obama. Now, there are those people who want to change the system in the United States, and that's up to them to push for that. But they should be open and say, "Hey, I am a socialist. I am a communist. I want the government to know all and be well." But the government, tolerated slavery. They tolerated a lot of stuff. Okay, the woman only got the right to vote in 1919. So don't count on the government for any, great things. Europe is bankrupt. They're going to be more and more bankrupt. They can't pay for what they have. We have these people trying to unseat Scott Walker, I guess, up in Wisconsin. here's a guy who's saying, hey, we're bankrupt, we can't afford to go on as we're doing, we need a different business model, and they're trying to get him out. So when you look at where the media is, if anybody who denies that the media has a bias, a real bias, is delusional. It's a mental illness. The fact that they don't think that the media, anybody who doesn't think the media has an agenda. We have the Federal Reserve, who basically makes money every time things go kaplooey. The more we go into debt, more money they make. Do you understand this? And these people are calling this shit. They have no incentive. The Federal Reserve, think about it. They have no incentive for things to go right. They have no incentive for our debt to go down. The only incentive they have, and they're in charge of this thing, they're in charge of policy. Goldman Sachs. We're pushing these carbon credits. If you look at Goldman Sachs, they're usually behind every sinister thing that's going on in this country. You have Monsanto with the genetically engineered food. So we get sicker and sicker with all the herbicides and pesticides and crap, artificial colors. And then because we're sicker and sicker, the business model on the human is getting out of control. I mean, they want to put us on statins, anything. People with asthma, they're saying, should be on statins. They want to basically put the stuff in your water supply like they did with the fluoride. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And I think our minds are going because less and less people are really protesting. Even the protesters that was Occupy Wall Street, they didn't know what the hell they're talking about in terms of the real issues. I mean, the only time they talk about, for instance, they were talking about legalizing marijuana. The whole concept of hemp production, it should be legal in the United States because basically it would cut down pollution. But do you hear any environmental groups pushing for hemp? No, they want to get high. So, we're in a crazy situation. And I think the masses, when you look at the game shows and all these people screaming and hooting and hollering and people getting beat up at football games and stuff, I mean, there's something really wrong with the masses, and they are definitely being controlled. They're definitely being worked instead of showing all this energy against the things of taking away your constitutional rights, your God-given constitutional rights. And I want to stress that God-given. Our rights are not given to us by our politicians. They're basically innate God-given rights, and it's the politicians that take away your rights under the guise of all kinds of crazy things. And yet you become more and more and more accepting. You have guys like Michael Savage, who you think is a lunatic when you first hear him, and then after a while, you understand the guy's right on target. We have some great. You have Mark Levin, who has his new book out. And the guy's brilliant. He fully understands what's happening, the erosion of our rights, the erosion of our, just even our understanding of what our rights are. You have John Batchelor late at night. I mean, this guy is a freaking genius in terms. These are all on WOR, WABC radio, and everybody. The left wants to. They actually want to eliminate Fox News, who covers these stories that the other medias don't want to cover. It's unbelievable. Associated Press, we have had in our local paper in Towanda, they won't talk about anything that is anti-Obama because all they do is them and all these other newspapers run feeds from Associated Press, and that's all. So Associated Press is in this love affair with Obama, so they only report all the things. He goes to the PetSmart and he does this and that. They don't talk about all the court rulings that are saying this Obamacare is unconstitutional, forcing people to have to buy health insurance. You have to understand that when a state does it, that's one thing, because if you don't like what the state's doing, it's very easy to basically move to another state, if that's the way you feel. And people do that all the time for tax reasons and all that, weather reasons, or, in the case of political reasons. There's a whole bunch of people moving up to, I think, Vermont for political reasons. But the point is you can do that. So all of a sudden, now when the federal government is trying to force you to do something, you have to decide if you're leaving the freaking country. I mean, it's insane. We are, with gun control, we're the last country that basically has some freedoms to defend ourselves. Australia's gone down the tube, Canada's gone down the tube, Europe, forget them. So you have to understand that the United States was an amazing country, but Obama doesn't think it's an amazing or exceptional country. I mean, he hates this country. Do you understand this? Do you understand this at all? That Obama hates the status quo of this country, and he wants to basically make it like his radical friends want to make it. Bill Ayers making bombs, Reverend Wright condemning the United States. You have to understand where we're at. Meanwhile, he's doing everything to stop our ability to get cheap energy out of the earth. He wants us to use solar cells, which the payback on that is unbelievable. I mean, in certain applications, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. Wind power is wonderful, wonderful. But basically, they produce power sometimes when we need it, sometimes when we don't need it. And it's very expensive in terms of the solar. If you have a little cabin up in the boondocks and you're willing to live on a couple hundred watts a day, yes, you could run a refrigerator, a chest refrigerator on solar, a small one, and keep the essentials cool. Anyhow, listen, take care, gotta run. Bye-bye.